Have you ever stopped to wonder why the most cunning and powerful individuals in history always appeared calm, ordinary, and sometimes even foolish to those around them? Play the fool and conquer the world. That statement may provoke laughter. It may sound like the ramblings of a madman, but understand this with absolute clarity. This is not some cheap trick or shallow deception. This is one of the most ruthless and devastating strategies ever forged in the furnace of dark psychology and political warfare. A strategy capable of dismantling every obstacle that stands between you and total dominion. Today we descend into the depths of a shadowy and lethal doctrine laid bare by the greatest political strategist and philosopher Italy ever produced, Machiavelli. In his legendary masterwork, The Prince, he revealed a weapon so dangerous that empires trembled at its application. His most terrifying principle states this plainly: present yourself as weak. Present yourself as ignorant. When you project an image of incompetence, your enemies underestimate you. Their arrogance inflates, their guard collapses, and your true power remains concealed like a blade hidden beneath a velvet cloak. The most dominant figures in human history wielded this single strategy above all others. Pay close attention. Do not make the mistake of leaving this halfway through. The secrets of dark psychology you are about to absorb will permanently alter the way you perceive every interaction, every rivalry, and every battle you face for the rest of your existence. If you walk away now, you surrender the deepest strategic education of your lifetime and remain forever vulnerable to those who already wield these weapons against you. Open your mind completely and absorb every word until the very end. The first weapon is understanding Machiavelli's original game. Turn the pages of Renaissance history, and you will find Machiavelli standing in the blood-soaked corridors of Florentine politics, observing a pattern that would alter warfare forever. He witnessed firsthand that those who paraded their wealth, flaunted their intellect, and displayed their military strength were the first to be targeted and the first to be destroyed. The Medici family understood this principle with surgical precision. While rival houses across Florence announced their ambitions loudly and gathered enemies like moths racing toward flame, the Medici disguised their ruthless political machinery behind the modest facade of banking. They funded papal elections. They orchestrated continental wars. They controlled the flow of gold across Europe. Yet to the casual observer, they appeared as nothing more than humble merchants counting coins. Machiavelli distilled this observation into one cold directive for rulers: be the fox in cunning and the lion in strength, but never allow the world to see the creature. When you are constructing a grand design within the fortress of your mind, the external world must perceive you as ordinary, harmless, insignificant. When your true intelligence and power remain locked behind an impenetrable mask, your adversaries will dismiss you entirely. They will ignore you completely. And that precise moment of dismissal becomes your golden hour. The hour when you execute silent maneuvers without resistance. In this era of savage competition, if your enemies cannot measure the depth of your capabilities, how will they ever strike you? Your concealed strength and your calculated performance of ignorance becomes the most devastating weapon in your entire arsenal. The second weapon is the lethal discipline of strategic timing. Machiavelli emphasized one ironclad principle that separates conquerors from casualties: the discipline of waiting for the perfect moment. If you intend to win any significant battle in your existence, whether in commerce, in your professional ascent, or against adversaries committed to your destruction, you must adopt the patience of a predator stalking prey through absolute darkness. Napoleon Bonaparte mastered this during his Italian campaign. While Austrian generals moved with reckless haste, Napoleon held his forces in calculated stillness. He studied terrain. He analyzed weaknesses. He let his enemies exhaust themselves through premature action. When he finally struck, the devastation was absolute and irreversible. Machiavelli kept his own strategies buried in silence as deep as a crypt. His rule was unbreakable. Do not reveal a single card. Do not execute a single action until the most critical vulnerability of your enemy lies completely exposed before you. One step taken in haste can reduce years of disciplined effort to ashes and dust. What follows next will fundamentally rewire how you understand the human mind. Stay locked in and do not miss a single second, because we are about to enter the darkest corridor of human psychology, the corridor that makes you invincible. The third weapon is understanding the psychological foundation. Now let us dissect the dark architecture behind this principle. Why is the act of appearing foolish so devastatingly effective? The greatest cunning in this world belongs to the individual whom others perceive as weak and unintelligent. When people believe you are nothing compared to them, their ego ascends to catastrophic heights. And ego is the genesis of blindness. A person consumed by the intoxication of superiority becomes utterly reckless. In their desperate compulsion to demonstrate dominance, they spill their guarded plans, their hidden schemes, and their deepest vulnerabilities right before you through casual conversation and careless boasting. When you construct an image of innocence and fragility before your rivals, they lower their shields entirely. They abandon all vigilance. This creates the supreme opportunity to conduct precise reconnaissance on your enemies and engineer their downfall with mathematical certainty. What appears on the surface is never the truth beneath. This is the foundational law of Machiavellian strategy. If you are still here, it confirms you possess the rare hunger to become something extraordinary. Do not leave now, because the classified strategy I am about to reveal will separate you permanently from the ordinary masses. The fourth weapon is the fortress of patience and silence. The most dangerous component of Machiavellian doctrine is the marriage of boundless patience with absolute control of the tongue. Never allow another living soul to discover what you intend to do next. Machiavelli held an unshakable conviction that patience is a weapon capable of toppling the mightiest empires without a single battle being fought. Warren Buffett embodies this principle in the modern arena. For decades, he has operated in silence while competitors scrambled and shouted their strategies to the financial press. Buffett reads. Buffett waits. Buffett never announces his next acquisition. And when he finally moves, markets tremble because no one predicted the direction of the strike. Allowing others to believe you are slow and that you lack sharpness is the most supreme method of protecting your lethal intellect. When your strategies remain classified, no adversary can predict from which direction the blow will arrive. This psychological fog consumes enemies from within and rots their confidence day by day. Engrave this into the bedrock of your consciousness. The weakness the world sees on your exterior is your greatest and most impenetrable strength. The fifth weapon is deployment on the modern battlefield. Machiavelli's doctrines were never confined to ancient thrones and forgotten kingdoms. In the corporate warfare of this century, every dimension of your career becomes a theater where these principles deliver devastating results. Machiavelli made one thing unmistakably clear. Deceiving the world does not mean robbing the innocent or becoming a creature without honor. The true meaning is deploying your cunning and disciplined patience to survive among the wolves who circle you with bared teeth. Jeff Bezos built Amazon while Wall Street analysts mocked his business model for years. He appeared to be hemorrhaging money. He appeared to be failing spectacularly. But behind that facade of apparent incompetence, Bezos was constructing infrastructure so vast that by the time competitors understood his true design, conquest was already complete. They had been defeated before they recognized the war had begun. In this age where every individual seeks to crush you beneath their ambition, Machiavelli teaches that broadcasting your true capabilities is the act of a fool. Conceal your arsenal. Wait like a silent predator. The success this strategy delivers will exceed anything your enemies imagined even in their darkest nightmares. Just a few more critical moments remain. This final section will serve you in every relationship and every social encounter for the rest of your life. Keep your full attention here and eliminate any thought of leaving. Incomplete knowledge is more dangerous than no knowledge at all. The sixth weapon is mastering the social battlefield. In personal relationships and social interactions, this dark doctrine proves equally lethal. When you engage with people around you, there are critical moments when swallowing your genuine anger, suppressing true emotions, and concealing authentic reactions becomes the most powerful strategic maneuver available. This approach shields you during volatile situations and simultaneously forces the other person to reveal their true character completely. When you deliberately allow someone to believe they are the most intelligent person in the room and that you understand nothing, that individual exposes every hidden aspect of who they truly are. The Spartans perfected this social weapon. They spoke in short, cutting phrases. They never revealed emotion or displayed rage. And every adversary who mistook their silence for stupidity discovered the truth only when Spartan spears were already positioned at their throats. The seventh weapon is the inner fortress versus outer display. Machiavelli's philosophy teaches a truth that separates sovereigns from slaves. Authentic power never resides in external exhibition. It does not live in expensive possessions, loud proclamations, or theatrical displays of dominance. True power exists exclusively within your inner confidence and your cold, calculating mind. John D. Rockefeller understood this with terrifying clarity. While rival oil barons threw lavish parties and performed their wealth for audiences that did not matter, Rockefeller lived with deliberate modesty. He dressed simply. He spoke rarely. Behind that unremarkable exterior, he was systematically acquiring every oil refinery in America until he controlled 90% of the entire industry. His competitors never saw the consolidation happening because they were too consumed by their own spectacle. Your authentic power lives in decisions made in solitude, in plans constructed in silence, in moves calculated when no one is watching. This quiet self-mastery is the foundation upon which history's greatest conquerors built their empires. The eighth and final weapon is the sovereignty of timing. The most cosmic truth within Machiavelli's doctrine is the absolute supremacy of time. Time is simultaneously the greatest teacher and the most ruthless warrior that has ever existed. The selection of the precise moment for every action is the ultimate key to your victory. If you allow emotions to sweep you into chaos, if you permit provocation to ignite impulsive reaction, then even your most brilliant strategies will collapse like a structure built on sand. Alexander the Great demonstrated this mastery at Gaugamela. Facing a Persian army 5 times his number, he did not charge in reckless fury. He waited. He studied the enemy formation. He identified a single fracture in their defensive line. And when the moment crystallized with absolute perfection, he drove his cavalry through that gap like a spear through silk. The Persian Empire collapsed in a single afternoon because one man understood that timing is more powerful than numbers and more decisive than courage alone. Circumstances shift constantly. Conditions transform without warning. But if you possess the discipline to wait for that one supreme opportunity, your victory is inevitable. The conclusion is forged in iron. Outmaneuvering this world does not mean abandoning honor. It means constructing an impenetrable shield from your intelligence, your strategy, and your patience. A shield so absolute that no attack from any direction can penetrate your defenses. Machiavelli wrote these principles so that men of vision could defeat the deceivers at their own game. When you conceal your vulnerabilities completely and deny your adversaries even the faintest glimpse of your true power, defeating you becomes an impossibility. This is the dark and magnificent strategy that altered the trajectory of human history. Recognize your power, guard it with your life, conceal it from every eye, and when the perfect moment arrives, Deliver a strike so devastating that the world stands frozen in silence. Machiavelli believed that knowledge is the most lethal weapon a man can possess. If this weapon served you today, strike the like button once. Not as a favor to me, as a mark that you received the blade and you intend to use it. Most channels would beg you to subscribe right now. I will not insult your intelligence with that request. If you understood what was spoken here today, you already know what to do. The weak seek permission. The powerful act in silence. If this doctrine ignited something within you, leave one word in the comments. Right, sovereign. That single word tells me you understood everything, and it reminds you of exactly who you are becoming. Now on your screen a video is appearing that will complete the arsenal you started building today. How to command respect without saying a single word. 7 classified Machiavellian laws that will make people fear your silence more than another man's rage. Watch it now. Finish what you started. I will meet you inside that video.